Is he a defender? He started with an F, didn't he? Foley, oh, he's a defender. There it is, Fallen. All right, we don't need this guy, Christian Fallen. He was undrafted. He's got the 3 green star. He may grow, but you know what? We have defenders for now. We're good. I can give this guy up. Who is going to put their team into round number 2? Will we have a hero? Please, God, give me a hero for Minnesota. The hockey gods, I speak to you. Come through. Please, overtime. Oh, no, penalty kill. They killed it off. No! Fucking 79! 79 two-way defenseman with the overtime slapper. I'm fucking done. Oh my God. They're fucking weak-ass defensive core. 281s, 279s, and a motherfucking 79 gets the game-winning overtime goal. Holy shit on a hockey stick. This guy just had the best day of his life while I get to go golf. I'm sorry. Laugh it up, boys. Laugh it up. I know you all love when I fail, and the Minnesota Wild get kicked out in round number 1 against the Dallas Stars for the 2nd year in a row. So laugh it up, because this year was an extreme failure. I was hoping for a better regular season. We barely made it into the playoffs. I was hoping for a deep playoff run. We get kicked out in the first round, and the fault has to lie with the general manager. A lot of people questioning the decisions that I made in the offseason. Really pointing out the Keith Yandel acquisition for the second line wing. And you know, it doesn't matter what he did. We lost in the first round, so you can blame every decision on me, boys. I will take the blame. So let's simulate all the way to the drafts. I don't know what I want to do in this video. I have no clue. I'm still distraught after trading away the eventual game winner, or the guy who scored the game winner in game 7, Fallen. Can you freaking believe that? Fallen. Oh, it was just a bad year, man. The hockey god's not on our side. And this is going to sound like excuses, but man, I wish we had Charlie Coyle in the lineup. We had to have Antoine Vermette, someone who I acquired because of the injury situation. We had him on the second line. He came through for us. But imagine we could use him on the third line, and we had Charlie Coyle on the second line. I mean, we took the Dallas Stars, the defending Stanley Cup champions, to Game 7 without Charlie Coyle, our second line center. So, you know, I still feel like we had a good season, but I'm not going to try to make excuses. It's a failure year, absolutely. So let's read some comments while we're doing some simulating here. Up first from UK Hockey Fan. GM Superb, man, it's all your fault. You traded both Pominville and Fallen to the Stars, meaning that 3 of the 4 game winners were scored by ex-Minnesota players you traded away. Guess the hockey gods weren't smiling on you on this time. Well, thank you very much, Sherlock. Good lord. Rub it in, boys. Just rub it in. Next comment. Oh, hang on a second. Scouting assignment. You know, it doesn't even matter. Next comment. King Alfie. Johnny, you traded Fallen to Dallas in the Jason Pominville deal. Everyone just loves pointing this crap out, don't they? As for the changes, take Mike Riley off the third line and get a real third line player. Move Riley at the draft for a second or third round pick, or in a deal to get you a good younger than 30 third line. Okay, I get it. Younger than 30 third liner. So trade Riley for a legitimate third line winger, this guy's basically saying. I've been rooting for Riley, and even though he's had a good series, it was Dallas's depth up front that killed you. And look at... Oh, baby! Okay. All right. I know it's all my fault, boys, but just hear me out. I want to see some unbiased fans here in the comments section. For the second year in a row, the Dallas Stars win the Stanley Cup. Now, I'm not making excuses for myself. It's a failure year. But once again, we lose to the best team in the NHL, and we took the best team in the NHL to Game 7 without Charlie Coyle. Game 7 overtime without Charlie Coyle. The Dallas Stars are a filthy team, boys. We're drawing bad luck. We're going up against these guys. We're not getting any luck having another team take them out of the playoff hunt. Wow, okay. So, I mean, that trade definitely worked out for the Dallas Stars in year number 1. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. Again, boys, no excuses. It's still a failure year, but, I mean, what are you going to do? The Dallas Stars, they're just freaking unstoppable, right? So, okay, I want to keep on simulating here. I don't want to send the scout out. We have a few more comments. Yeah, I'll just continue the sim. Let's get this one. You know what? I think we'll save these last 2 comments after all this comes up. We got the retirements. A few more screens are going to pop up. I don't want to keep on skipping them. But man, the Dallas Stars, back-to-back years. I mean, Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin, their stats are so filthy. They come through in the regular season. I mean, year number 1, Seguin and Benn, just ridiculous amounts of points. I don't think Benn was in the top 5 for points this year. Seguin was still up there. But, I mean, once they get to the playoffs, along with John Klingberg, the offensive defenseman, these guys just, goddamn, man, get so many points. All right, so let's see. Do we have anybody who is going to retire from our team? Shane Doan, Eric Cole, Chris Neal from the Dallas Stars. So he goes off with the Stanley Cup win. Huge overtime goal in round number 1. It was definitely worth it. Marian Gaborik. All right, so we weren't able to bring Marian Gaborik back. Scott Gomez, Prossier. Okay, good. So we didn't lose anyone like out of the blue, like Koivu or Suter or Parise. Could you imagine? That'd be horrible. Kunitz, Patrick Marleau. All right, Daniel Sedin. Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7. All right, so the NHL is losing some players, and Ryan Miller from the Vancouver Canucks. All right, I got to get my head wrapped around what I want to do here, boys. I really don't know what I want to do. I don't have a plan going into this offseason. So if you're looking for a spectacular draft video where I trade, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'd like to see what we have and see what's available. But before we do that, let me just finish the fan comments here. 3 or 4, Sergeant Brisk. I really feel like having Yandel on that second line left wing was so bad. He was basically a waste of time, if you ask me. Next, you should get more depth. Parise is the franchise player for Minnesota, so get some goal scorers. I guess that's some goal scorers. So get some goal scorers around him, and maybe a little bit better, a little bit of better defense, because the only guys scoring in that series was Parise and Vermette. God damn, man. Grammar boys, I gotta read these back. It's early as well. Please read the comment, Johnny. All right, I did my best. So this guy's saying the same thing. The Captain Keith Yandel situation on the wing. I know, boys. I didn't want to sign Andrew Ladd. And he didn't come through for us. All right, fair enough. And last but not least, from Luke Eden or Eden, I don't think you need all of those defenders. Trade 2 of them away. Bring in 2 81-rated defensemen, shutdown defenders for the third line, like the Dallas Stars, right? I guess, how could I argue with that? Add Yandel to that trade list and go out and get a top 90-plus rated sniper to play with Parise, the playmaker. So everyone's kind of on the same page here. We got to trade some of our defensemen, and we have to support Zach Parise, who is the franchise player for our team. And it really frustrates me that we couldn't have come through. I mean, year 1 was good, don't get me wrong. It was a great year for the Minnesota Wild. We went further than the franchise ever went. We got wins in the 3rd round. This year, not so much, but Parise, I mean, 32 years of age, his potential is dropping. He's down to a 91. He was at a 92, right? So he is on the way down, boys. And this guy, he's come through for the Minnesota Wild in the playoffs. I mean, the 2 years before I got here, 14 points in 13 games played. The year before I got here, 10-10. First year, I was the GM. Last year when we went to the 3rd round, 18 points in 15 games. Remember all the game winners that he had as well? Let's see. Does it show game winners? He only had 2. I thought there was more than that. Maybe it was insurance markers. And this year, round number 1, 7 points in 7 games played. So, I mean, we have players who can show up in the playoffs. And we're not going to have them for long. So, like I said, man, this was the year to do it. Next year, we're not going to be as good. The year after that, even worse. So we have got to get our hands around this problem. Okay, so I don't know where we're going to draft. The good news is that we have our first overall pick. Let's do some scouting and see if moving up in the draft is something we want to think about, or if we're just going to maybe acquire a player with our first rounder. I don't know. Nolan Patrick, power forward, center. Looks like he's going first overall, top 5. Nicholas Hack, 6'6", defensive defenseman from the OHL, and Owen Tippett, right wing sniper from the OHL. So some more rookies that I made better this year, boys. Now here's something interesting. Now I don't know if they're going to draft like this, but it seems like there's a lot of goalies in this year's draft. I mean, there's 2 top 5 goalies, and then there's like 5 top 10. So other than the 3 skaters, everyone else gets pushed back to 11, 12. This guy, Lil Jagren, I know I edited his stats. He's better. Same thing with this guy, or maybe he was already better. There's definitely some players we can snag up, maybe at 12, maybe at 11. So I'll see if I can maybe move up to 12 or 11, if that makes sense for our team. Okay, so 12 or 11 for the draft. That makes sense. Not really any sense taking a look at the trading block. I mean, I'm going to have to give up a lot to acquire a player right here. Let's take a look at what we have in the system just so I can refresh my memory. Devin Dubnyk, he'll be coming back next year as our goaltender. There's no way we're shaking up the roster that much. We have to get a little bit luckier with the injury situation. Byzantine, Kemper, and Helvig. All right, so goaltenders we're not touching. Defensemen, now here's where you guys were pointing out we have assets we can trade. Suter, Spurgeon, Yandel, Dumba, Goligoski, Scandella, Brodin, Riley. So we have all those guys. Now, if you guys are saying Yandel doesn't work on the wing for the second line, common sense says that we have to trade away a couple defensemen for that second line left winger, right? So we have the 8 defensemen. I don't know who I want to trade away yet. Can't trade away Riley at the draft because we have to re-sign him. Brodin, he's 23. He could still grow. Maybe it's Scandella. He's a defensive defenseman. You know what? Maybe it's Goligoski because he's 31. Hold on to Captain Keith Yandel and trade away Goligoski, or trade away Yandel and Goligoski in one deal to try to acquire, because, I mean, we already have, Spurgeon as the offensive defenseman. Dumba can get top 4 time next year with Brodin or Riley, and then Brodin and Scandella in the top 6. Okay, that makes sense. So I have 2 defenders I can trade for a forward. Let me just take a look at my forwards again. Parise, Niederreiter. Niederreiter had a decent year, 88. I want him on the first line with Parise. So maybe a really bona fide first line center, and we can push Koivu. You might want to think about trading away a Coyle or a Granlund as well. I can't trade away Koivu because he's the captain. It's a weird team, boys. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I don't think we're going to have any salary cap issues. Let me just make sure. I could trade away. Let me just see the highest paid players on our team. I could trade away Zucker. Niederreiter needs a new contract. Granny Smith needs a new contract. Coyle might want to trade away Helm here, boys, to save up some money defensively. I'll save some money for Vermette. Okay. Yeah, it's the defenseman. I'll save money with our defenseman getting traded. All right, boys. So let's go into the draft. I don't know what I'm searching for. I want to see what the draft holds. So 17. If we could move up to like the 10th overall pick, that wouldn't be a bad bet. Colorado Avalanche, Carolina Hurricanes, or the Boston Bruins. All right, so let's target Boston, Colorado, and Carolina for that draft pick. Because I don't really see myself trading for any players right now. There's nobody going to be available, and I'd like you guys to chime in after the draft, because that's when we do the re-sign stage, and that's also when we see who's available in free agency. There's no point in trading for a second-line left winger if there's a perfect second-line left winger in free agency. And then I can free up some cap space, trade them, and then sign a guy, right? Let me just check if Mike Camilleri, 3 years left. No, I'm not taking on a 35-year-old. 3 years left. Let me just do my due diligence, see if there's any skaters that a team is willing to give away. I'm not looking for prospects, looking for somebody who can help us out right now. Verbata and Sedin, no. Okay, so nobody really, boys. So let's take a look at Boston, Colorado, and Carolina. Boston wants to give up the 9th overall pick. Colorado wants to give up the 10th, and Carolina... Let's see, Carolina does not want to give up the 11th. So let's work with Boston here, boys. That wouldn't be a bad bet. So you're going to take 17. You're going to move it up to 9. Now, we don't have a second. I'm going to hold on to my 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'd like to bring in depth. Let's see what we could give up here. Skaters matching the block. Antoine Vermette, no. Howla. Berchisi, no. Okay, so there's not really anyone. If I could throw this guy, you know what? I could just throw this guy in there. Yeah, and now I'm trading to the Eastern Conference, so hopefully it won't come back to bite me like, that fallen trade. Oh my god, I can't believe that. Let's go through this, boys. I want to find a player that I can give up here. Goaltenders, Dubnyk, Helvig, no. Byzantine, I'd rather hold on to him for the AHL. Defenseman, now we could give up one of our defensemen in this deal. They got the cap space. Let's see, do they have any guys? I could take Seidenberg, but I don't want any defensemen coming back. Will they trade any forwards to help me out? Havlat, Bolesky. 1 year. Nah, Bolesky's got too many years left. Stayharnay. No, I don't want that. These guys, and then anyone above that's got too much trade value. Kelly. Let's see. Connolly. Brett Connolly, 25. 80. You know what? There you go. There's somebody who's 80 overall. He's got some trade value to him, and he's a legitimate forward that we could take. All right, so I'll throw him in there. Let's see what that center right under Connolly was. Who's this guy? Chisarnik, playmaker. No, I'll leave him off the trade. I don't see him being a part of our team. This may take a while, boys. I have to see what I need. You know, the only guy really available out of this is Connolly. So, the first in or the 9th overall pick, the first rounder, and Brett Connolly. I'll throw Barchesi in there. Now, the 17th. Now, this is where I throw in one of our defensemen. Let's see. D-men. So Spurgeon, Dumba, Captain Keith Yandel, Goligoski. So let's send Goligoski over there. All right, boom. So Goligoski, let me just see. So Brett Connolly, Goligoski in the 17th. So you're moving the 17th up to the 9th. The extra value comes from Goligoski. Brett Connolly doesn't have too much. You also throw in this other prospect that they want. Okay, is there any other players that I could just dump on this deal? Any guys with 2? Any guys with 2 years left? 2 years left? No, I've got the roster pretty well organized. So there it is, boys. I don't think I need to do too much more with that. That should go through. You're moving 17 up to 9. You're taking a guy who Boston looks like they're giving up on. He hasn't really done much for them. No, he hasn't done much for them at all. He only played 1 game this year for them. They didn't even use him. So I'll take him back. A Goligoski going in there to sweeten the deal. Is there something? I might be able to sneak in another draft pick. I want to make sure I get as much here as I can. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'll take the 4th. I'll take the 6th. And, yeah, it's a little bit unrealistic. I'll just take the 4th, all right? So, boys, there it is. The 9th overall pick. We're moving up from 17 to 9. And we're getting Brett Connolly. And we're giving one of our veteran defensemen. We're going to acquire that 4th as well. Will it go through? Yes, it did. It seems like a sweet proposal on our end. So on behalf of the Boston Bruins organization, I accept. So you guys can say what you want about that deal. If it made sense, if it didn't make sense, I'm pulling the trigger. All right, so we're up to 9. We're going to see who we get with that. We're not making another trade for a draft pick right now. That's enough. And I acquired that 4th also. Defenseman. Let's hold on to everyone now, boys. I have 7 defensemen, and I want to see what's available in free agency. We just got rid of Goligoski, and we brought back Connolly, which means we're going to have cap space available. Yeah, we should be fine, because Antoine Vermette is up as well. So we're okay, boys. All right, that should be enough. So let's go into the draft. See who we get. Montreal Canadiens get Nolan Patrick. Schneider to Arizona. Murdaka. So there are those goaltenders. Hawk goes to Florida. Tippett goes to Vancouver. Keisner or Skinner. Oh, yes. Okay, boys. So my tactics seem to have worked here. All the goaltenders went in the top 10. Yes! Liljegren. Oh, I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Liljegren. Timothy Liljegren. Oh, the super sweet defenseman. He's a two-way guy, right-handed. And we also have this Maxime Comtos, playmaker, left winger. Oh, I don't need a left winger on this team. No, you know what? I'm going to get that defenseman, boys. Timothy Liljegren. Let's grab him from Sweden, 18 years of age. I'm going to draft him 9th overall. Look at all those goalies that went. So I want to keep an eye on Florida, Vancouver, Montreal, and the Rangers, because that Comtos guy. Okay? Well, I'm not going to remember all that. Jeez. Maybe you guys can remind me in the comment section. I'll try. No, we're not going to make any more trades. So that's enough. Let's go to the 3rd round, the 4th round. I want to draft the players that I want. Hang on a second. Continue. Yep. There we go. I'm playing so many games. All my muscle memory for these controls are way off. Okay. Let's see. Is there anybody that we've drafted or we scouted with high potential that we can maybe snag up? Not really. I don't want to take a chance on... Don't want to take a chance on a 3.5 White Star player. I might as well just draft somebody up here. Benjamin Gleason, Dwyer. Let's grab somebody who's like 18. There we go. Mark Kastelik. He's an American center, 6'4", power forward. Let's grab him. Let's grab some centers for this team. All right, 3rd round. He's picked up. Now we have the 4th rounder, the Boston Bruin 4th rounder, and our 4th rounder. So again, even if these guys are just trading assets for us in the future, that'll work. Cliff Poo, there he is. Did I get Cliff Poo? Let me see. Is there any centers in here? You know that Velarde guy's name? He's 17 as well. I've noticed something with like these guys. There's an 18-year-old. Hang on, what's this guy? 18. Carl Gervais, left wing. I wanted those centers. This guy. Offensive. You know what? I wanted the American. Yeah. That Velarde guy is still available with my 2nd, 4th. I'll grab him, but I want this guy. All right, let's see. Velarde, I think he's still going to be available. Yeah, let's load up on centers right now. Yeah, there he is. And he's 3.5. Playmaker, OHL, from Ontario. Can't go wrong with that. All right, so I'll pick up Velarde. I'm using all my draft picks here, boys. That's very important. Like I said, trading assets, if anything, and we're going to be using them in this offseason. Plenty of 18-year-olds. Here we go. Hoffenmeyer. Oh, that's a sweet name. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. Noel Hoffenmeyer. Maybe he's left-handed two-way defender. Maybe the future partner for Liljegren. I can't even pronounce all these damn names now. And that's it, boys, all right? So what was it? Montreal. I got to go back and figure that out. Let's see. Go back to round number 1. Montreal, Florida, Vancouver, and New York. Montreal, Florida, Vancouver, and New York. I'm going to show you guys how bad my memory is when I'm doing live commentaries. Montreal, Florida, New York, and what was it again? Florida, Vancouver, right. Montreal, Florida, Vancouver, and New York. All right, boys, so we'll take a look at those teams, see who the draft picks are. Like I said, I've told you guys this. In the first 3 years of drafting, I've edited the prospect pool, so we're going to get some really good players coming into the NHL that don't take 4, 5, 6 years to be NHL ready. So this league is going to be fantastic in a couple of years, don't worry. So first we'll look at the Montreal Canadiens. Let's see, Nolan Patrick. Woo, baby! Montreal's looking good down the center. Alex Galchenyuk, and now Nolan Patrick. Power forward, center, 82 overall coming into the NHL. 4.5 green star potential. God dang, watch out. The New York Rangers, correct? Yeah, hang on. For God's sakes, New York. Come on! Now, this was the guy I could have drafted. Ooh, I gave up on that guy. Maxime Comtios, whatever his damn name is. Left wing playmaker, 4.5 gold star potential at 78 overall. Oof. He's a fast winger. Oh my God, he's got some good playmaking stats. All right, so I gave up on him. Let's take a look at Florida. This was that Hack defenseman. Let's see, there he is, Nicholas Hack. Defensive defenseman, 78 overall, 4.5 gold star potential. Looks like he's got a really good defensive and physical category. Vancouver, right? Vancouver got Tippett, Owen Tippett, the right wing sniper. I think this guy's got like really good sniping categories. They're all 78. Jesus, 78, 4.5 gold star potential. His shooting category, he's already in the 90 for speed. So Vancouver got a good player there also. And last but not least, let's take a look at our pick. Hopefully he's good. Please God, I moved up in the draft for him. Let's see. Liljegren. All right. Okay. So some good news and some bad news. He's 18 years of age, 4.5 gold star potential, but he's only 55 overall. So when you're looking back at the draft, maybe I should have gone with that Comtios guy. But if this guy grows well enough, maybe he can be a future Lindholm for us from the Ottawa Senators GM mode, if you remember that. 97 overall or something. So, player re-sign stage. We got $12 million of cap space. Let me go ahead and do this, boys. We'll do some power video editing, and we'll get to free agency. Hang on a sec. All right, there we go. All done re-signing the players. Salary cap did become an issue. We just have over $2.5 million of cap space. I had to cut a few players from this team, but that's okay because we still do have some trading assets like the other defensemen. And the free agency list, so we'll be okay. So Devin Dubnyk, 87. I had to cut Darcy Kemper. Just wasn't enough room on the team. Didn't want to give him any kind of one-way deal. And Mark Visentin at 80 overall. He's ready to go for next year. And Kemper really wasn't providing us any kind of regular season consistency. So I'm fine with that cut. Visentin and Helvig's been re-signed. Or actually, he got his first contract. Hopefully, he's ready to play in the AHL for next year. Defensively, Suter, Spurgeon, Yandel, Dumba, Scandella, Riley, and Brodin. So I got Riley back for 2 more years at 1.35. We're going to figure out this year if we're going to keep him for the future. If not, we can trade him at the end of this year. It seems like Yandel's going to be the player on the way out. It makes sense. And by doing that, we're going to free up $6 million plus the 2.6 that we have. That's $8.5 million for free agency. Okay, so don't worry about the cap space for right now. We still have that 7th defenseman. Now, forwards, this is where it gets interesting. Had to cut a few people. Niederreiter, he got his big boy contract, 5.25 for 4 years. That was an upgrade from like 1 point or 2 point something. So that one hurt, right? We still have Brett Connolly on the team now from the trade from the Boston Bruins. So there is some depth. Justin Fontaine, I believe, is re-signed also. I'll show you guys the prospects that we drafted afterwards. Zucker's still on the team. Parise, Helm, Dalp, And centers, oh, why am I searching this way? There we go. Koivu, Coyle, Granlund, Howla, Spalling. So there are a few players that we had to cut. I had to cut Antoine Vermette. He wanted like $4 million. I just couldn't offer it unless I raised the years like 2 or 3. Then it came back down, so I didn't re-sign him. Ryan Garbett, David Jones, these guys who wanted one-way contracts, I just was not giving them to them. But we're still fine. We got the depth. We have the 7 defenders and forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see we're into Conley, Spalling, Fontaine, Dulp territory. But like I said, we still have to move out Yandel and acquire another forward, so we'll be okay. Oh, and I forgot to show you guys our prospects that we drafted. I actually got a little bit lucky, boys. I don't know if this is going to end up being a team full of great players or if I'm going to have a bunch of duds. But you know about Helvig, the prospect. Look at all these guys now defensively. Lil Green, who doesn't have the greatest overall, but still he's got the 4.5 golds. We got Juho Levi and Sergachev. So we have 3 prospect defensemen. One's a Russian. One's a fantastic Finn, I believe. Oh, I went to the Russian again. Great. And one's a super Swede. Juho Levi, let's see. Yeah, he's a fantastic Finn. So Finland, Russia, or Sweden, one of your countries have got to come through for us. So we're going to hope for the best out of those guys. And then forwards, we got Jake Kreisky, who was a center 4.5 Red Star potential. And this guy, Gabriel Velarde, I knew I recognized his name. These younger players, 17 years of age, 4.5 Red Star potential, and he's already 60 overall. So, I mean, along with Charlie Coyle, even if he only grows to a third-line center or a second-line center, it's still a great pick for, what was it, 4th round? Yeah, 4th round draft pick. So him and Kreisky. So you can see, boys, with the potential that we have, all these unsigned players, Lil Green, Kreisky, Velarde, Sergachev, and Juho Levi. Are they going to become something? Who knows? If they do, we actually look like we have a prospect pool now, right? If they don't, still don't have any of these, those guaranteed prospects. I'm really regretting not drafting that Comtos guy. I really hope Lil I can't even pronounce the name. Somebody tell me how you pronounce it. It's goofing me up every time. Liljegren. He was only 55 overall. That Comtos guy was looking really good, but oh well. Oh well, we'll get that super sweet defenseman. So now that we're in free agency, boys, the 2.6 mil plus the Captain Keith Yandel trade, there are a few players available. Now let's just check out goaltenders first. All right, goalies. You got Ben Bishop, 88. I mean, all close to $7 million. So, I mean, I'm not trading away Dubnyk to sign Ben Bishop. There's no point in that. Colin Booth. All right, so we have some prospect goaltenders I can sign. I'm definitely going to sign that guy, that goaltender prospect. Jake Allen, but 5.2. No, I'm not going to take that. Defensively, I'll just check it out, even though we have the 7 defensemen. Who's available? Carl Alsner, Brendan Smith. No, so we're not going to acquire any defenseman, even the top 6 defensemen, like you guys were saying. If you have to sign them in free agency and you don't have cap space, I mean, that's a lot of money to shell out for a guy who's 81 overall, you know, almost $2 million. No, thank you. I'd rather trade for a guy who's got a friendly contract. But there is Nicholas Milok. There we go, 19. I can acquire more young prospects for this team. Good. And last but not least, the real thing we need to look at, the forward core. Now, Alexander Steen, he wants 6 years at 5.3 at 33 years of age. I mean, I would love to sign him for a 1-year deal, and I could definitely afford him. Brad Marchand, 29 years of age. He's still got his 4.5 White Star potential. He's like a close to a 30 goal man, because when I edited his stats, yeah, this guy could take some penalty minutes, but on that second line with Charlie Coyle and Granny Smith, that could be a chippy second line. Tyler Johnson, I already have a plethora of centers. Antoine Vermette, you see what I mean? He wants he wants $3.3 million for 2 years. If you offer him like a 1-year deal, it'll go up to 4 years. I just couldn't afford him, boys. At 34 years of age, if he drops, I thought it would be a big waste, and I'd rather hold on to that money and test free agency. Berglund, Stafford, Bonino. Bonino's a great playoff man. Clutterbuck, Bickle, Winnick. All right, so there's a few players here available. There are depth players, but you guys were saying that we needed to replace Captain Keith Yandel in the second line, so we need to target one of these stars. Steen, Marchand, Berglund for the wing maybe, but that's another playmaker. It's got to be Steen or Marchand. Tyler Johnson's the center. Maybe we can make a trade as well, boys, with the Captain Keith Yandel situation. So, Keith Yandel and maybe a first rounder, maybe something else, and bring in a star from another team, or just unload Captain Keith Yandel for somebody who's got a very friendly contract for depth, and then sign Steen or Brad Marchand. Let me know what you guys think, because year number 3, I think we should be proud of ourselves. Years 1 and 2, we lost to the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Dallas Stars, both years. So I can make the argument we're the second best team in the NHL. We took them to the distance both years. Overtime Game 7 in year number 2 without Charlie Coyle. So this roster is looking good, but I agree. Replacing Captain Keith Yandel would do this team wonders, and I want to make sure if we're going to do that, we do the right thing for now and the future. So boys, what should we do? Very important decision. What should we do? Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to check out our website, 2bcsports.com, where the hockey talk continues. Find myself and others in the live interactive chat, or dive into the active forums to talk about sports and gaming. You can also find us on Twitch, where the live streams come to life.